So I get this question a lot. What is the difference between an IRA and an annuity? And they have some similarities to them, but they are very, very distinctively different vehicles. And so we're going to break that down now.
Hey, what's up everybody? Rob Gill, Money Minute. Let me just jump in real quick. The main difference between an annuity, guarantees, and an IRA, not a guarantee. Annuity, tax efficient. An IRA, not tax efficient. Back to Dave.
To understand the difference between an annuity and an IRA is to understand the difference between an investment or a holding and an account. Right? So the similarities between an annuity and an IRA is the method in which the money inside of an annuity and the money inside of a traditional or Roth IRA for that matter grow. They grow on a tax deferred basis. But an IRA, whether it's Roth or traditional, is an account. An annuity is an investment vehicle. So let's talk about the differences between the two. So an IRA or an individual retirement account has rules and regulations upon both the traditional style as well as the Roth style. First, you have the traditional style. Traditional IRA or traditional individual retirement accounts are vehicles that can accept only a certain dollar amount of contribution per year based upon earned income. Right? And if you're over the age of 50, that amount is a little bit higher than folks that are under the age of 50. But there's only so much contribution that you can put into a traditional IRA. There's also rules and phase outs on whether or not you can take an income tax deduction on that contribution. Roth IRA is a little bit different. Roth IRA has post-tax dollars that are contributed to them. Same guidelines in terms of maximum contributions as well as catch-up contributions over 50, but the treatment of the monies is different when they go into the Roth than when they go into the traditional. Post-tax monies go into the Roth, accumulate tax deferred, and under most circumstances are distributed to you tax-free. An annuity, on the other hand, is an investment vehicle. Now, it can operate relatively similar to that of a IRA, whether it's traditional or Roth, because you can take a sum of money and contribute it into an annuity for tax-deferred growth. However, there is no limitation on the deposit into specific styles of annuities. It's not hamstrung by the rules and guidelines of the federal government. It can be $1 million, as an example, could go into an annuity strategy. There are similarities between IRAs and annuities from the standpoint of premature distribution penalties, depending on the type of annuity that you own and depending on the style of IRA account that you have. When you're under the age of 59 and a half, as an example, there can be 10% premature distribution penalties on growth, and there can be some income taxation as well. And that falls in the guidelines of an annuity and or an IRA as well. So there's some similarity there. IRA accounts and Roth IRA accounts are not guaranteed to provide you an income in the future. They are simply the vehicle or the holding tank of the dollars that could create a guaranteed lifetime income. The annuity or the investment inside of the IRA, the Roth IRA, or even just a traditional brokerage account is the vehicle that produces an income stream for you potentially that could also be an income for you that you can never outlive. IRA accounts and Roth IRA accounts also do not have guaranteed death benefits attached to them. Whatever dollar amount is in the IRA account or in the Roth IRA account is what is available to the beneficiary at the point that you pass away. However, annuities do have both standard as well as potentially enhanced death benefits that can pay beneficiaries, whether it's spouse or a non-spousal beneficiary. And if those riders are selected on the annuities, inside of the IRA account or inside of the Roth IRA account, well, now what you've created is you've created a death benefit strategy on an account that under normal circumstances does not have that level of guarantee. So that's where an annuity, when structured appropriately with a IRA account or a Roth IRA account, can make a lot of sense. Another factor to take into consideration when you're looking at both IRAs as well as annuities is the Roth IRA feature. If an annuity for income purposes is purchased inside of a Roth IRA account, remember that the rules of Roth IRA distributions are that when done the right way, income tax free. And so if I've bought an annuity as an investment vehicle inside of my Roth IRA and I have either riders on it and or I what's called annuitize my investment and take a life expectancy distribution, that distribution to me can operate almost like a tax-free pension. So very, very, very powerful strategy when combined with a Roth IRA. The other feature that you want to take into consideration is the withdrawal requirements of IRA versus Roth IRA and also with annuities. Traditional IRAs have something called mandatory distributions, meaning when I hit a certain age, right now it's 70 and a half years old or above, I am required by federal law to start and commence taking a income distribution from my traditional IRA that's based upon my life expectancy. Every year I get a little bit older, my distribution requirement is a little bit higher because my life expectancy is a little bit less. Roth IRA, on the other hand, does not have that feature. Roth IRAs don't have mandatory distributions. Annuities inside of Roth IRAs also would not carry that mandatory distribution requirement. And so if you want to turn income on at a future point, deeper into retirement, you have that feature and allow for the compounding effect of the annuity and ultimately the annuitization from the annuity to be a greater tax-free withdrawal at literally any point. Blah, blah, blah. I just got tongue-tied. That's okay. Really at any point in the future that I decide that I want to turn that income on. So as you can see, there are some similarities between annuities and IRAs and some very, very distinct differences. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to our channel so you can see more of our content on a regular basis. And if you'd like to have a conversation about annuities, about IRAs, Roth IRAs, whatever the case may be, click the link below and a member of our team will reach out to you to have a conversation about annuities and or anything related in your planning circumstances.